language, but I decided that probably it is very good opportunity to speak in Macedonian. As you're in the Macedonian parliament, so you are going to be able to hear the language which probably in very close future is not going to be difficult to understand, because most of us are going to have our translators in our ear. So the languages are not going to be important anymore. I heard today discussions about history, about the prejudice, and в овој момент јас би сакал да се префрлам на македонски.
I will turn to Macedonian. I would like to say that we have heard a lot about history of Europe, burdened with history, I believe. We are seeing the same developments which Europe lived a long time ago. We are discussing history, and I'm going to cite a dear person which said we are discussing who owns the stones in the Balkans. We are discussing who's the real owner of the stones, which mean nothing to anyone at this moment. What is important is that I heard a little what is going on in the region, a region which loses its workforce, it loses its economic power, capacity, and instead of becoming an integral part of Europe, is turning into a region which could become a source of future problems and developments, burdened by the issue of whether we will become member states of EU. We are forgetting that we're losing the battle at home. We're not giving the chance to economy of this state to stand firmly on its feet. Are we in Europe? No. The workforce is there. Are we not in Europe because criminals are going to get into Europe? No, there are already criminals in Europe. What are we doing here? We have a state, and there are states in this region which unfortunately are dying off in a natural way. They lose their population, their competition, and the key issue, we are not afraid in the business sector whether the European market will be open for us. The competition is because of the need for foreign investments. So we're losing the battle at a conceptual level. Do we want an integrated Europe? I think that at this moment that such a clear vision is not present at anyone in Europe. But I believe that even those who have this clear vision, they're revising their views at this moment. The perspective which is being promised, the year 2030, which is totally insignificant in the context of the criteria. This is not an agenda for me anymore. I'm in my 60s, so this is not my agenda. It's not even the agenda of my children. I believe that will be the agenda of their children. And in this name, we're talking today. On the contrary, I'm coming from the ICT sector. And at this moment, we're not being afraid what is going to happen in Europe, but we are being afraid what is going to happen to humanity. Artificial intelligence is on the threshold of making crucial decisions whether humanity will continue to exist, since the world where it's heading today, we're forgetting that we're in a situation where it can happen that machines decide for us. And all of this discussion we're having today, and I'm glad I had the chance to talk, is only a series of very few years where we can debate as humans, as people, because machines will debate, and they will debate through the internet online. And the key issue is that going to be the world we're discussing about today, or is it going to be a completely new world? I must tell you, coming from this sector, I'm really afraid, and not only myself, but the real creators of artificial intelligence are also afraid. A huge number of them withdrew from those centers. They went to universities to convince them to rethink where this world is going. Resources are less and less. Wars are going to happen because people will begin to fight for the very few resources that are left. And therefore, we can see BRICS and other associations world wants to redistribute the resources and the goods. As Mr. Laschet mentioned, the causes of the First and the Second World War. Everything starts from the shortcomings. And if we do not give ourselves the task to be more pragmatic with less history, with prejudices from the past century, it will be all the same. I can tell you in 20 years it will not be important if Macedonia is in the EU or the Balkans in the EU. Europe should ask itself, where are we going to be? Since I believe nobody in the world understands the danger of where the overall situation with the world is going. I don't want to be pessimistic. I have much goodwill to fight problems and issues all my life. Since I've been born, I've been fighting with problems. As somebody who has been born here in our state, who has been educated here, who has a business here, I can tell you that I'm sorry that my children do not live here. They are kids of the world. I do not have the chance to get them back here in Macedonia. And this happens with every second Macedonian family. And we should ask ourselves, is this the world we want to live in? Is this that important to us, whether Alexander the Macedonian is Macedonian, Greek, Albanian, or even Serbian? I believe that in a few years, nobody will care anything about this. And the only thing that will be important to us will be how we as a humanity, as people, should find the right direction to survive. And I believe that Macedonia is doing this the last 30 years in a very courageous, masculine way. And yes, we do have corruption. We have issues with crime, not that much. I cannot say that we have more crime than Europe or more corruption than a big part of the world. And that is not the reason why we're not in the Union. There are more subtle and dramatic reasons that this whole process is being postponed. And in the end, I want to apologize on behalf of the members of this assembly. The MPs, part of the National Council, is here. MPs are not here, which unfortunately shows that they are not aware who is here as guests in their house. Thank you very much to all of you who have come to our legislature to hear from us that there is a different climate here and not a climate of being nervous and of not wanting to cooperate with the world. Yes, we do cooperate with the world, and I can say that there are no borders. Thank you very much.